Hi there, this is Steve.
This is Jeremy.
We're the Alabama Gamers.
Bringing you the PlayStation drop for October 10th, 2017.
So what's in the drop this week? There's a couple of good ones I like.
There are several good ones, and there are several so-sos, unfortunately. First up is Always Sometimes Monsters. It's PlayStation 4 digital release. The price is unreleased so far, but it is $9.99 on Steam, probably somewhere in that neighborhood. The rating is going to be likely M. The developers are Vagabond Dog. This is their first PlayStation 4 game, but they did like A2B and they did Dog Golfing and some other stuff. It's a story-paced RPG. The description says, out of money and out of luck, you find yourself heartbroken and on the verge of collapse. Your landlord's taken the key back, you can't finish a manuscript, and your beloved is marrying someone else. With no choice but to handle whatever life throws at you, you set out on the open road on a mission to win back the love of your life. And I think it feels like an 8-bit version of the Michael Douglas classic Falling Down. Do you remember that?
I do.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, it looks like an 8-bit video game, right? The guys almost look like the little dudes from Double Dragon.
Yeah, it definitely.
Which I love, by the way. But it uses emotions instead of combat. So there's not a lot of fighting per se. But yeah, good solid choice. Next up and you are not going to believe this, the PlayStation Vita.
Vita?
I don't even have a Vita. Never been interested in a Vita. Not a Vita fan, but this looks like a great game. The game is called Bad Apple Wars. It's a digital and retail release. It'd be $39.99, but it's $31.99 with the Amazon pre-order.
Are you throwing apples at each other?
Oh no, it's legit. It's rated T for teens. It's made by Automate, which is an Idea Factory company. They've done 100, give or take, games, so they know what they're doing. The category is like a visual novel, but it has multiple endings. Okay.
All right. Depending upon what actions you take?
Yes, absolutely. Right. So the description says, after a sudden car accident on her first day of school, the protagonist finds herself in the afterlife, standing before a strange school for lost souls. The confounded protagonist attends the school's opening ceremony, then chaos strikes. And I put... before I put that, let's talk about the story, because I think the story is really, really interesting.
So you start out dead.
No, well, you start out alive, and then you die right off, right? So you die, and the first place you go to is another high school for souls, right? And you have two options, and the rest of the game is really trying to figure out what you're going to do. Your first option is to graduate this high school and be reincarnated. Okay. And your second option is to get expelled from this high school and go back to Earth. Like be reborn in your body.
Oh, you become you again.
Yes.
Okay,
so I guess it's kind of like purgatory, and I guess time on Earth is stopped until whatever happens, right? It's really interesting. It has multiple endings. They're all really bittersweet. But the art looks good. The music looks good.
The art definitely looks good. Checking out the trailer.
Yes, everything. I mean, it's all there. Unfortunately, it's all there for the Vita, and it may be a PlayStation 4 game. I just don't know about it.
Yeah, sometimes they'll bring, if it's popular enough on the Vita, they'll bring a remastered version to the PlayStation.
Yeah, so I was shocked that it would just be a Vita game, but. Whatevs. Next up is Echo for the PlayStation 4.
And this looks really interesting.
It does. Yes. It's PlayStation 4. It's a digital release. The price has been unreleased, but it's $24.99 on Steam, so probably somewhere in that ballpark. The rating is M for mature. Developer is Ultra. They're from out there. I think this is their first PlayStation 4 game, but they're out of Copenhagen, Denmark, which in Alabama, Copenhagen means something else.
Yep.
Now, the genre is a sci-fi action adventure game, which it certainly is. The description says, after a century in stasis, the girl arrives at her destination, a place out of legend, a marvel of the old civilization, eons gone, still awaiting its first human occupants. Out here, using forgotten technologies, she hopes to bring back a life that should have never been lost. Okay, so we have a girl who goes to this mythical place, and it spawns echoes of her. Okay,
so copies.
Yes, and you have to get past or you have to fight that goes or whatever. But the most interesting part is that the AI learns how you play and adapts to you.
And whatever kind of weapons you pick up and use, that's the weapons you give your opponent for the next go around.
It looks.
Yeah, each time that it reboots, that's when it's going to start. Whatever you've changed, it changes too. So if you picked up a gun the first round, and your guys have got guns the next round, you may be like, "Ooh, I got to leave that alone because this is tough."
I mean, it looks sharp. I mean, it really does. It's visually beautiful. On a social aspect, I know that it's got trophies on Steam, so I expect those to be achievements on PlayStation. Next up is, and I think this is probably going to be your song by the week.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
The Evil Within 2 for PlayStation 4. Now, the PlayStation Drop says it is only a digital release. That is not true.
Yeah.
My man here ordered it, right?
Already pre-ordered,
yeah. Right? So, it's a digital and a retail release. The drop is wrong. The price is an amazing $59.99, or if you use Amazon pre-order, it's $47.99.
And I would have done that, but I already had some money still sitting over there, so I just used that.
Yeah. The rating is in from mature, developed by Tango Gameworks. They did Evil Within 1. The genre is an action horror game. We have a couple of those. And the description says, Detective Sebastian Castellanos has lost everything, including his daughter Lily. To save her, he must descend into the nightmarish world of STEM. Horrifying threats emerge from every corner, and he must rely on his wits to survive. And I put, it feels like a better Evil Within, more upgrades, better graphics, familiar faces, everything.
And Evil Within was one of my favorite games.
You know what?
It was so good.
I've had it, literally, it's in my pile of shame of games that I haven't had a chance to play yet.
It's so good. I keep telling him that.
Yeah, I'm going to open it up this Friday the 13th when I get off, and I'm going to play it all day.
And that's when this comes out. This comes out Friday the 13th. So
Smooth touch, by the way. Smooth touch. Only our second game to come out Friday the 13th. The next one up is Friday the 13th. I love it, man. I love it. It's a PlayStation 4 game. It's digital and retail. It's going to cost $39.99. It's $31.99 if you use Amazon pre-order, which I probably am going to do. I'm probably just going to pick it up. The rated M for mature. Developer is Ilphonic, who have a bowl full of soul. I love their games. They did Armored Warfare, and they're doing the upcoming Dead Alliance, which has caused some problems. We'll talk about that in a second. The genre is a survival horror game. The description says, from the most storied franchise in slasher history comes Friday the 13th, the game. A love letter to the date synonymous with horror. Players will get to live out the movies as they take on the role of Jason Voorhees for the very first time in gaming history. And I put, it feels like Call of Duty for camp counselors. Because really, you got all the camp counselors, you got Jason. You can play as Jason, or you can play as a camp counselor.
And this was a Kickstarter game, too. Yeah, they started on Kickstarter. So if you got it when it was on Kickstarter and you may have heard some bad things about servers and things like that, remember, that was small. That was just their kind of, it was more than a beta, but now they're releasing it to everyone so that everyone can get it. So if you were part of that, or if you heard some bad things about servers on the Kickstarter, don't worry. Check it out anyway. I think they're going to have all those server problems fixed up where you're going to be able to get on it. There just wasn't enough space there.
And there was some question because of they're working on Dead Alliance, and there was some question that now Friday the 13th's out. They've stepped away from that and pulled all their resources over to Dead Alliance. And they have come out very, very recently, like within the last few weeks, I think, and said that is not true. Matter of fact, they doubled down. They went from 20 developers working on it to 30. They also have a full-time house set aside to handle and continuing issues. So you can play as Jason Voorhees killing camp counselors, or you can play as a camp counselor and kill Jason Voorhees. One of the initial problems they ran into, what everybody hated about it, was that instead of all of us camp counselors getting together and trying to kill Jason, they just kill you. And so they found a way to minimize that. So I think it's going to be great. I love it. I love it. I love the style. When you first turn it on, it looks like... Do you remember when you put a VHS tape in at the beginning and it had
that
the
was a
tracking
great touch.
lines?
I love that.
Yes, it looked just like the tracking lines before your auto track. Oh my goodness, such a great game. Next up is an interesting game, The Invisible Hours for PlayStation VR. It's a digital release. The price has been unreleased, but I think it's going to be $29.99. And even though it says digital release, if you go to GameStop on their website, it shows it to have a physical copy. They've got the artwork done, so it may be a physical release as well. The rating is T for teens. It's developed by Tequila Works. They did Rhyme, The Sexy Brutale, and they did Deadlight, or they're working on Deadlight. The genre, I'm going to call it a non-linear VR story. Okay, the description says, The Invisible Hours is a complex murder mystery in VR, in which players freely explore an intricate web of interwoven stories within a sprawling mansion. And I put it.
Is the mansion, is that owned by Nicholas Tesla?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I think that's what they're giving you, is that. So.
And Nikolai Tesla is a character in the game. And I put it feels immersive and complex murder mystery. It looks really, really interesting. I like it. What do you think?
It looks cool. I mean, definitely more stuff in the VR, more stuff to get to try.
The VR is here to stay. I'm telling you. I think that
they're putting enough in it.
Yes, I think especially with them saying we are not going to have a Vita. I think for sure those resources are being redirected.
Yeah, and it's going to be great, especially if they get some huge game. It was awesome when they put Resident Evil and they had that level. I mean, the whole game you can do in VR.
Yeah,
I would love it if they'd done Evil Within, but I like the third person.
Yeah, I was actually really shocked that Evil Within wasn't in there because there's been a lot of horror VRs.
Yeah, it's because it's third person type of game, so that's why. Because they had to switch Resident Evil from third person to first person for that. So.
Yeah. Next up is a big one for a lot of people. Middle-earth: Shadow of War.
And if you've not seen the trailer for this, you've just not turned on your TV.
Yeah.
Because it's been everywhere.
Yeah, the publisher's really pushing it. It's a digital and retail release. It's $59.99 with no Amazon pre-order sale, which sucks. The rating is in for mature. Developed by Monolith Productions. They did the other two, which is Guardian of Middle-earth and Shadow of Mordor. It's an action-adventure game. I mean, it kind of feels like the other ones, but much, much better.
It looks great. Graphics. And there's already a DLC that's going to be free.
Yes. Yeah. The description says, immerse yourself in the epic war for Middle-earth as you confront the Dark Lord Sauron and his ring wraths. Forge a ring of power to dominate your enemies and command your followers as you experience a unique personal story brought to you by the award-winning Nemesis system. And I put, it feels like Shadow of Mordor. It looks good. If you like the Lord of the Rings, this is all you right here, right? Next up is an interesting, I went back and forth on including this. This is Raid World War II. This is certainly one of those, what do you call it, where the trailer looks amazing, the box looks great, and then you get it and you're like, man, the graphics kind of suck. It's kind of like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, they've got a great actor doing the, John Cleese, opening it up for you in the trailer, but
he's not in it.
He's not in it. He's not doing the voiceover, as far as we know. I mean, the voiceover they showed us didn't have him doing anything.
Yeah, it's a PlayStation 4 release. It's digital and retail. It's $39.99. It's only $31.99 if you use Amazon pre-order, of course. Ready and for mature. The developers are Game Lion. They did Payday 2, which I want to address in a second. But the genre is a four-person co-op shooter. The description says, Raid World War II is an action-packed, tactical, four-player cooperative shooter during World War II. I put it feels like mid-range PlayStation 3 graphics set during World War II. Okay, so what's interesting or really not interesting about Game Lion? Well, I really want to like them. However, they gave us the Payday 2. They made us wait an entire year for one small DLC pack. But Payday 2 on the computer got packs like constantly, right? And so they really left us out in the dark. And I'm afraid that that's going to be the case here. Yeah. The only reason I really want to put it on here because it's a four-person co-op shooter, and we just don't see that a lot. It doesn't look all that good graphically, but it does look fun, and so I'm willing to. It'll make the cut. All right, number 9, Raiden V, the director's cut for PlayStation 4. The release is digital and retail. It's $3.99 with no Amazon pre-order special. The rating is E for everyone. It's developed by Moss. They are employees that worked for the company that had the Raiden franchise. And when that company folded, developers bought the rights to the franchise and made their own, and that's Moss, right? So very nice. People who are really invested in the game, right?
And if you guys are old like us, I mean, you're going to remember this from back in the day. It was an arcade.
Which is why I really wanted, why I felt it had a place here. Because it is a vertical shooter.
Update. Yeah. It's awesome looking.
Yeah, you have a bunch of different streams. So you can shoot a laser, spread shot, everything. The description says, arcade hit Raiden first of its mark on the shooting genre 25 years ago. This easy-to-learn but hard-to-master series comes to PlayStation 4 in its first modern and advanced form yet. And I put, it's a typical, easy-to-learn, hard-to-master co-op aircraft shooter, right? Yeah, looks good. Looks good. All right, next up is raw data for the VR. It's PlayStation VR release, only VR. It's a digital release. The price is $29.99 on Steam, but we don't know what it's going to be on PlayStation 4 yet. Rated teen for teen. They're developed by Survivos. They did Spirit Vector, which is also a VR game. The genre is a VR fighter. And the description says, built from the ground up exclusively for VR, raw data's action combat gameplay, intuitive controls, challenging enemies, and sci-fi atmosphere will completely immerse you within the surreal environment of Eden Corp. And this is the first VR exclusive game to top Steam's global bestseller list, and it's also the first to make $1 million in 1 month. The first VR game ever.
Yeah, and I like the use. And it looks like you're going to use the motion controls to
shoot,
and that's really cool in the VR. I don't know if you've played a game with those, but when you do, you get into it. It really feels like you're holding those pistols, those lasers, or whatever you've got. Yeah, it's really great.
Looks good. All right, next up is the honorable mention. We do the top 10, and sometimes we throw in an honorable mention. And this goes to Aereo. It's a PlayStation 4 game. It's a digital release. The price is on release, but it's only like $3.99 on Steam. So hopefully it'll be super cheap,
so
right?
Under $5.
Under $5. And if it's not, you can't beat it. Rated E for everyone. They're developed by Stonebot Studio. They're a new studio, and they are from El Salvador. It is a story-driven rhythm arcade shooter. Okay, Aereo is an action rhythm space arcade shooter that is inspired by the pop culture influences of the 80s.
And the first thing when you look at this trailer, you're going to see, that's Guitar Hero or Rock Band.
Absolutely,
it looks a lot like it.
Looks just like it, right? And I put, it feels like Guitar Hero meets Asteroids with 80s pop synth music in the background, right? So the whole thing is that you're sitting in it does have a story, which makes it better than Guitar Hero. But, so you're sitting in a bar, you've got a band, you're going to open up for this band, right? Now you got to get to this concert, you forgot to pay your bar tab. So the cosmic sheriff just decides to kill you. And that's what you're trying to do. The whole story is you trying to get to the concert. So, I don't know. It looks really interesting. If nothing else, there are not a lot of rhythm games. It's nice not to have to use a peripheral like Guitar Hero to use a joystick, a very familiar control. So that's why it certainly deserves an honorable mention. All right. Well, that's the top 10 list for this week. What do you think?
Oh, well, it's Evil Within 2 for me.
Evil Within 2.
Yeah, I'm getting that Friday. We'll pop you up a review next drop. I'm already going to tell you I'm going to love it.
Yeah.
They said it already looks great, and I think they've just improved on it, what it is. I'll probably come in here scared. Can't turn off the lights or anything.
I think I'm going to go with Friday the 13th. I mean, it's. I tell you what, it's really nice to see all these horror. And they didn't wait till Halloween. They gave you some time to get into them before Halloween. I love it, man. Yeah. I love it. There was another one at the end of the drop that didn't make it on the list, but there was another one that's kind of not a VR, but another a horror game that's on the list. So, listen, that's the PlayStation Drop Top 10, okay? This week there were 22, and we picked the 10 best. With an honorable mention, but all 22 trailers are down in the comment section, so feel free to check out the ones that we picked or the ones that we didn't pick, and you can kind of see for yourself what you like and what you don't like. All right,
so get us a like, get a subscribe, share with your friends, guys. Just get that content out there for us, guys.
That's right.
All right,
till then, roll tide,
baby.